Hey everybody, day 37. 37, that's a lot. So we're getting right down to the wire. It's kind of exciting. So day 37, I've only got a few more of these videos to go, and so I've been spending some time trying to think like, what is the best thing that I could say or help with at the end of this challenge, and so I thought one that I could go over that you guys may find interesting, and again, this might have been one that I should have discussed earlier on, is weight loss supplements. A lot of people are interested in weight loss supplements, particularly things that will speed up weight loss, and that makes perfect sense. Everybody wants to accelerate their weight loss if they can, as long as it's safe. And so there are a lot of supplements that are available over the counter, and there is actually some evidence that some of them help. The evidence is really mixed, quite frankly. There is nothing out there that really has strong evidence to support its aid in weight loss that is not controlled by the FDA. So there's a few of them out there right now that are kind of popular. Glucomannan is one that's kind of popular, and there was a study done recently that showed that it makes people feel less hungry, and that's what you're looking for basically when you're looking for a supplement to control or to help with fat loss, which usually is appetite control. There are some other ones. Chromium picolinate is one that is popular. There are several, quite frankly, and here's the bottom line on those. So I'm just going to tell you straight across the board exactly what's going on. So the bottom line is that there is really no strong evidence to say that for sure this one is working. There are some studies that have been done that show that there probably is some benefit, and there's some other ones that say there probably is no benefit, and this is like so common when it comes to health stuff. There's always like a counter study to whatever study it is that you want, or for every study that you read, there's always a counter study. There was one back in the day that saccharin was a killer. That was back probably in about 1980. And of course, that one actually ended up getting overturned because there were the way that the study was run was using lab mice, and this is really interesting. I learned this myself by doing some research on this. That lab mice and gastrointestinal evaluations gastro stuff is one of the few things that mice are really not well suited to, and that is a significant area of difference in terms of the physiology basically of humans and mice. And so in America, that's not really considered the right way to go about studying something like saccharin. Significantly, they are also feeding tremendous amount of saccharin to these mice, and the study was done in Canada, and that is another thing that in America we have different standards for testing and so on. So that's an old one, but the bottom line is that for every study that you've got, there's always a counter study. So you kind of have to fall back on your good sense a lot of times. So as I was mentioning, the bottom line on these weight loss supplements is that they may work. Some of them may help. There's nothing strongly indicative that says they for sure will work. And these are the over-the-counter ones that I'm talking about right now. But they may work. And so really the big risk is just, do you want to pay? So if you want to put out some money and try some of these supplements, it's probably not going to kill you, but it may end up just being a waste of money. Years ago, ephedra was available over the counter, and of course we know that was extremely dangerous and had a lot of significant heart-related damage that was done to people, along with like Fen Phen. So that one was one that ended up getting taken off the shelves about 12 or 15 years ago, something like that. So a lot of times these supplements end up becoming something dangerous, and in the meantime people have been exposed to them. And that's probably why I would avoid them. So I don't take any kind of supplements for weight loss. I generally don't recommend it because of the reasons that I just mentioned. You don't want it to be the next Fen Phen that you were taking some pill that you could have just been a little bit more patient and you would have gotten a similar result. So that's one thing. So now I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some of the medical weight loss drugs that are out there and their utility or their benefit. So one of them that's really, really common is HCG. HCG will help you lose weight. So it sucks that I say that because I do not support HCG at all. The problem with HCG is it jacks with your metabolism, and so that's a very risky thing to do on the long run. So HCG could work possibly in the short run if you were monitored by a physician, but I've known some friends that have taken HCG, and I mean, truly my friends, not just people I've read about, but my friends who have been on an HCG diet, and it ended up really screwing them up. And so the big issue on that is metabolic damage, and so you just don't want to start jacking with your metabolism. It's so risky, and that takes me on to another one, which there are some thyroid drugs that you can get. I think one of them is T3 is one, and there's another one, Cytomel, I think it's called. Again, these are all something that you would have to get from a doctor. And, if you're going to a doctor to get some kind of, medicine to control your thyroid or control your appetite, I don't recommend it. That's all I'm going to say. I don't recommend it. I particularly do not recommend HCG. Quite frankly, the other ones I'm not as familiar with because I don't do them and I don't recommend them. And so I have limited interest in them because I know I don't want to start doing things that are going to screw with my thyroid or mess with my metabolism. It's just not worth it. You can just eat less and eat better and just be a little bit more patient and get a similar result. So that's pretty much the bottom line on the over-the-counter stuff and the medical one. So, and one other one that is very common, but actually can help you is caffeine. So, it's like we all know about that. So you can get coffee, and coffee has a lot of benefit in terms of it has an appetite suppressant quality to it. The part about it being a diuretic has pretty much been overturned now. It's not considered to be a diuretic, or if it has some kind of diuretic component to it, it's extremely nominal and doesn't really have any kind of long-term diuretic effect. So if you screw up your water balance somewhat, which is very hard to do in the long run, by the way, your body will adapt to that very quickly and have new uptake of water, basically. Their body is a very elaborate system for homeostasis, and it's very hard to upset the natural balance of your body for very long, which is why things like keto diets don't work, because you can't really stay in ketosis for long, or your body you end up in the hospital, quite frankly. So if you were able to do it in a really hardcore way, you'd end up in the hospital. So, so caffeine is one that can help. I've mentioned coffee before, and I'm a big believer in coffee as an appetite suppressant. It's natural, it's straightforward, it's easy to get. The hot liquid also adds a suppressing quality and a satiety, quality, and it adds a satiety element to it as well that makes you feel a little bit more full. It's not the strongest thing out there, coffee, but it does take the edge off, and really, that's about all you need, and probably all you're going to get from any kind of over-the-counter thing anyway. But you can buy caffeine in tablets, and you can up your caffeine level, and it will increase your heart rate and so on, and that will definitely increase your caloric burn during the day. And if you take it with coffee, it may make you feel a little less hungry. So that's one. I have talked about the Revital U coffee that I use a lot, which there is a link for that below. I'm glad to send you a sample for that. I have always used just plain coffee for appetite suppressing stuff for when I'm getting ready for bodybuilding shows, but I personally like the effect of the Revital U. I can still tell that my stomach is empty, but my desire for food is just a little bit less. So that's the thing that I like about it. Just taking regular coffee will work, but if you want to just add like a little, extra benefit, that Revital U, it works great. The taste is a little bit weak, honestly, compared to normal coffee. So when I use it, I use less water than I might use for normal coffee, but I guess I like my coffee strong or something. But Revital U coffee is a little bit weak in my opinion in terms of the taste, and so you just decrease the quantity of water, and that works great. So that's another option too. It's not a drug, it's something that you can get, and of course I can get it to you, which makes it easy. Basically, I can send you a sample for free, and you could decide if you like it. If you don't like it, no problem. So that's another one. So anyway, that's kind of the bottom line on weight loss supplements. Oh, and you know what? I would like to add something. Now, I know that this challenge has largely been about weight loss, but on the weight and on the muscle gain side, on the fitness side, there is one there's one supplement that you can get that is definitely proven to help with gaining muscle mass. And that is something I just drew a blank. That is hang on one second. creatine. Excuse me. Maybe I need more caffeine. Creatine, or creatinine, whatever it is. So creatine is a supplement that I have in the other part of my kitchen here, and it is a very good supplement. Now, there is a tremendous body of evidence to support this. So there are some people that take creatine and they have a feeling of being waterlogged or like holding or retaining extra water. Some people have reported having headaches related to it, but that's very rare. But the upside is that if you're wanting to put on some muscle mass, you can really benefit from creatine supplementation. And this is one that actually is very well established and you can count on. So if you can tolerate it, which like 95% of the people in the world can tolerate it without any problem whatsoever, if you can tolerate it, then it is definitely something that will help you put on some muscle size. Muscle size is really important in terms of weight loss because we've discussed many times before. You want to keep your BMI up, and to do that, you need to have resistance training, and you can benefit even more by having the supplement that I just mentioned, creatine. So that is one on the fitness side that you may consider if you're adding exercise as an adjunct to your weight loss program. So anyway, I hope that helps somebody. We are right at the end here, folks. So I'm going to have to think very carefully about my next installments and what I'm going to say exactly, because I want to give you guys good information every single day and keep it fresh. So hope that you guys will follow me on social media. My links are below. The Revital U link is below. So if you want to get a sample, I'm glad to send you one. And so I hope you guys are enjoying this. It's coming to the end now, and I hope that some people have gotten some benefit out of this and learned a lot. So again, thank you for going through this with me, and follow me on social media if you would below, and we'll be back tomorrow with more, hopefully, good information.